Adam Keller stepped onto the porch of his secluded cabin, the morning sun stretching long shadows across the parched terrain. His calloused hands clutched a steaming mug of real coffee, a luxury he'd insisted on bringing to this distant corner of Terrace Prime. The bitter aroma took him back to Earth, a world he hadn't seen in 7 years. "What do you think, Rex? Another peaceful day in paradise?" Adam murmured, gazing at the German shepherd resting at his feet. Rex's ears twitched, his keen eyes sweeping the horizon. Since settling on this remote planet, far from the tumult of the Galactic Federation's ceaseless skirmishes, the dog had been Adam's sole companion. After 15 years as a Federation Marine, Adam had witnessed enough bloodshed to fill several lifetimes. His cabin perched on the edge of a vast desert plateau, gazing upon a valley dotted with peculiar, twisted trees bearing purple fruit. The indigenous inhabitants, a nomadic humanoid species known as the Navari, seldom ventured into these desolate badlands, which suited Adam perfectly. He had painstakingly constructed this dwelling himself, a simple yet sturdy blend of local stone and imported durasteel, designed to withstand the occasional dust storms that swept the plains. Adam ran a hand through his thick light brown hair, squinting against the sunlight. At 38, his face bore the etched lines of a life lived hard and fought harder. His 6'3" frame, as solid as in his military days, now favored practical desert attire over combat armor, reserving the latter sand-colored tactical gear, reinforced at the shoulders and forearms, for forays into more perilous zones. Suddenly, Rex sprang upright, a low growl rumbling in his throat. "What is it, boy?" Adam asked, instantly alert, his instincts sharpened by years of combat. The dog's ears swiveled forward, and then he bolted, galloping down the path towards the canyon. "Rex! Damn it!" Adam set down his mug and sprinted after him, his hand instinctively reaching for the blaster holstered at his hip. As he rounded a bend in the trail, a high-pitched cry, distinctly non-animal, reached his ears. Adam quickened his pace, boots kicking up dust as he followed Rex's barks. He found the dog at the edge of what locals called a swallowing pit, essentially quicksand, but with a consistency akin to liquid glass. In the center, clinging desperately to a frayed rope anchored to a dead tree stump, was a small, vibrant, blue-skinned figure. A child. A Navari child. "Hold on!" Adam shouted, his military training taking over, as he quickly assessed the danger. The girl couldn't have been more than 10 years old, her delicate body already half submerged in the treacherous pit. Her long, silver hair, intricately braided, was now caked with glittering sand. Large, terror-stricken green eyes locked onto his. "Please help," she whispered, her voice trembling. Adam swiftly stripped off his outer shirt, tethering one end around his waist and the other to a sturdy rock formation. "Rex, stay," he commanded, and the dog, though quivering with tension, held his position. "I'm coming to get you," Adam called, his voice calm and authoritative. "Don't struggle. It'll only make you sink faster." He tested the rope, then carefully made his way toward the girl, distributing his weight to avoid being ensnared himself. The sand shifted menacingly beneath him, but his years of training in arduous terrain proved invaluable. When he reached her, the girl's bright orange shirt was stained with sand, and she was trembling uncontrollably. Up close, her skin possessed an almost luminous quality, shimmering under the planet's harsh sun. "Put your arms around my neck," Adam instructed. "Don't let go no matter what." She nodded, her eyes wide with fear, and wrapped her slender arms around him. She weighed almost nothing, yet extricating her from the clinging sand proved challenging. With careful, measured movements, Adam pulled them both back towards solid ground, using the rope as an anchor. Once they reached the edge, Rex circled them excitedly, his tail wagging. The girl collapsed onto the hard-packed earth, gasping for breath. "You're safe now," Adam said, kneeling beside her. "What's your name? What are you doing out here alone?" The girl looked up at him, her luminous skin now dulled by dried sand. "I am Adara," she said softly. I was not supposed to come here. Mother says the swallowing pits are forbidden." "Your mother's right," Adam replied, helping her to her feet. "These badlands aren't safe for anyone, especially children." Adara ducked her head. "I wanted to see the crystal flowers that bloom after the rains." She gestured toward a cluster of translucent, flower-like formations growing near the canyon's edge. They only appear once a year. Adam sighed. Curiosity is going to get you killed out here. Thank you for saving me, she said, her voice barely audible. She glanced nervously in the direction of the valley. I must go. They will be looking for me. Before Adam could offer to escort her back to her clan, Adara darted away with surprising speed, disappearing into the brush that lined the canyon floor. Well, that was interesting, Adam muttered to Rex, who whined in response. Come on, boy. Let's get back to our peaceful, uneventful life. As they walked back to the cabin, Adam couldn't shake the feeling that his self-imposed isolation had just been irrevocably disturbed. 3 days after the rescue, Adam was cleaning his pulse rifle on the porch when Rex's ears abruptly pricked up. The dog rose to his feet, posture alert, but not aggressive. What is it, boy? Adam set the weapon aside and stood, shading his eyes against the morning sun. In the valley below, a procession of figures moved with deliberate purpose toward his cabin. Even from this distance, the shimmer of their blue skin was unmistakable. Navari. But unlike the occasional hunters he'd glimpsed from afar, these moved with military precision, their dark metal armor catching the sunlight. Well, hell, Adam muttered, quickly assessing his options. Running wasn't his style, and besides, there was nowhere to go. This was Navari territory. He was a guest here, permitted to stay by the planetary governor's treaty with the indigenous people. He counted at least 20 warriors, all female from what he could tell. The Navari social structure remained largely a mystery to off-worlders, but he knew their society was matriarchal, with women holding positions of power and serving as warriors. Guess we're having company, Rex. Be on your best behavior. Adam ducked inside, quickly donning his tactical armor, not as a threat, but as a sign of respect. Among the Navari, formal meetings called for formal attire. He strapped his sidearm to his thigh, more out of habit than any expectation of danger. By the time the procession reached the clearing before his cabin, Adam stood waiting, back straight and composed. Rex sat obediently at his side, though his tail thumped against the ground in curious anticipation. The warriors formed a crescent, their armor more elegant than functional, with flowing lines that mimicked the natural contours of their bodies. Each carried a staff that Adam knew could extend into a deadly energy spear with the press of a button. From their midst stepped a tall figure, her bearing unmistakably that of a leader. Her armor was more intricate than the others, with swirling patterns etched into the dark metal. Unlike her warriors, who wore helmets that obscured their features, her face was uncovered. And what a face it was. High cheekbones, full lips set in a determined line, and large, almond-shaped green eyes that Adam recognized immediately. The same eyes as the child he'd rescued, though these held wisdom and authority rather than fear. Her silver hair was elaborately braided and adorned with small metallic beads that chimed softly when she moved. Beside her stood Adara, now clean and dressed in a simple white tunic, her eyes downcast. The leader approached, stopping a respectful distance from Adam. I am Lyanna, chief of the Starlight clan, she announced, her voice melodic yet commanding. You are the human called Adam Keller. It wasn't a question. Adam inclined his head slightly. I am. You saved my daughter from the swallowing pit. Again, not a question. Anyone would have done the same, Adam replied. A murmur rippled through the assembled warriors, and Lyanna's expression shifted subtly. Surprise, perhaps. No, human. Not anyone would risk themselves for a child not of their kind. She studied him with undisguised curiosity. Especially not one who seeks solitude as determinedly as you do. Adam felt a flash of irritation. You've been watching me. This is our land, Lyanna replied simply. We watch all who dwell upon it. Fair enough, Adam thought. Well, now you've seen me up close. Curiosity satisfied. A hint of amusement touched Lyanna's lips. Not entirely. She gestured to Adara, who stepped forward, carrying a small wooden box. My daughter brings you a gift of gratitude, Lyanna explained, as Adara presented the box to Adam. It is our way. Adam accepted the box carefully. Inside lay a bracelet of intricately woven silver strands, embedded with small blue stones that seemed to pulse with inner light. It is star metal, Lyanna explained. Rare and valued among our people. The stones are heart gems, found only in the deepest caves of our territory. It's beautiful, Adam said honestly, but unnecessary. It is necessary to us, Lyanna countered. A life debt must be acknowledged. The bracelet marks you as a friend of the Starlight clan. You may travel our lands freely and call upon us in need. Adam slipped the bracelet onto his wrist, feeling the metal warm instantly to his skin temperature. Thank you. Just then, Rex trotted over to Adara, his tail wagging furiously. The little girl let out a musical giggle, a sound surprisingly human, and extended a tentative hand to stroke his fur. Your companion displays remarkable courage, Lyanna commented, her eyes fixed on the dog. He sensed my daughter's distress long before I did. Rex possesses instincts superior to mine, I concede, Adam admitted, a wry smile playing on his lips. Lyanna's gaze lingered on him, a subtle assessment in her eyes. I find that difficult to believe, Adam Keller. Your perception is keen. There was an intriguing shift in her tone, a delicate inflection Adam didn't miss. The way she articulated his name carried a definite hint of curiosity. We would be honored if you would join us for the moonrise feast tonight, she continued, her voice smooth. It commemorates the changing of the seasons and would be a fitting occasion to formally acknowledge your courageous deed. Adam hesitated, typically avoiding involvement with local populations, preferring his reclusive existence. It would bring great honor to us, Lyanna added, her eyes locking with his, an unspoken significance hanging over her words. Then I accept, Adam heard himself say, a genuine surprise in his own voice. Lyanna nodded, a flicker of satisfaction across her features. An escort will be dispatched at sunset. She turned to depart, but paused. Please wear your warrior attire, as you appear now. My people hold strength in high regard. As the procession moved away, Adam observed Lyanna's confident stride, admiring how her warriors seamlessly fell into formation behind her without a single command. What do you make of this, Rex? He mused aloud, turning to his canine companion. Just a formal thank you, or something more? The dog tilted his head, ears perked, a picture of canine contemplation. Yeah, I'm not sure either, buddy, but it looks like we're about to find out. Adam's fingers brushed the bracelet, feeling its peculiar warmth against his skin. After years of deliberate isolation, he was suddenly immersed in the intricate affairs of the Navari, and despite his innate caution, he found himself captivated by their enigmatic leader. As promised, an escort arrived at Adam's cabin at sunset. 2 Navari warriors, Seren and Kira, who introduced themselves formally. They guided him through a labyrinth of winding paths he'd never discovered, despite his extended tenure on the planet, eventually leading him into a secluded valley nestled between towering rock formations. The Navi settlement was truly a marvel of organic design. Dwellings appeared to emerge directly from the living rock, adorned with bioluminescent flora that cast a soft, ethereal blue glow over the entire scene. In the heart of the settlement, a circular clearing teemed with hundreds of Navari, gathered around a massive bonfire that blazed with unusual purple flames. That is the heart fire, Seren explained, noting Adam's captivated expression. It ignites only during our most sacred celebrations. Adam felt a multitude of eyes upon him as they drew closer, some filled with curiosity, others with wary scrutiny. He was likely the first human many of them had ever encountered up close. Rex remained steadfastly by his side, drawing almost as much attention as his master. Lyanna awaited them at the periphery of the gathering, no longer in her battle armor, but robed in flowing silver garments that beautifully complemented her blue skin. Intricate patterns, shimmering with the same phosphorescence as the heart fire, adorned her exposed arms and face. Adam Keller, she greeted him, her voice resonating above the murmur of the crowd. You honor us with your presence. The honor is entirely mine, he replied, suddenly conscious of his seemingly rugged appearance amidst these elegant beings. Lyanna's eyes swept appreciatively over his tactical armor. You arrived as a warrior. Good, she affirmed, gesturing for him to follow her to a raised platform where other clan leaders were seated. As they walked, she spoke softly. There are matters requiring our discussion, but first we celebrate, such is our custom. The feast commenced with ceremonial offerings, which Adam gathered were dedicated to ancestral spirits. The food proved surprisingly palatable. Roasted meats seasoned with unfamiliar yet delightful spices, fruits bursting with sweet juices, and a fermented beverage that warmed his blood and subtly loosened his typically reserved demeanor. Throughout the meal, Lyanna elucidated various aspects of Navari culture, occasionally leaning close enough for him to catch her unique scent, a blend of cinnamon and ozone. Each time she did, he noticed her warriors exchange knowing glances. "Your people seem rather surprised by your undivided attention to me," Adam observed, a hint of amusement in his voice. Lyanna's lips curved into a smile. "It is indeed uncommon for a chief to show such profound interest in an outsider." "Is that truly what this is? Interest?" he pressed. "Would such a notion displease you?" she countered, her directness momentarily catching him off guard. Before he could formulate a response, drums began to beat rhythmically, and the Navari rose to their feet. The clearing transformed as warriors moved into formation, creating a vast circle. "This is the Moonrise Dance," Lyanna explained, rising beside him. "It celebrates the continuous cycle of life and strengthens the bonds within our community." Adam watched, mesmerized, as the Navari moved in perfect synchronicity, their movements fluid yet powerful. The dance narrated a profound story of struggle, triumph, and ultimately, unity. As the first of the planet's 3 moons crested the horizon, bathing everything in a soft, silver light, the tempo shifted. Warriors began to select partners from the assembled crowd. "Among our people," Lyanna's voice was low and intimate, "the dance also serves as an expression of compatibility." She extended her hand to him. "Will you join me, Adam Keller?" A hush descended upon the gathering. Even without fully comprehending their culture, Adam recognized the profound significance of the moment. The chief had chosen an outsider, a human no less, as her dance partner. "I'm not familiar with your steps," he confessed. "The body knows what the mind does not," she replied, her gaze unwavering. "Trust in that." Taking her hand, Adam allowed her to lead him into the circle. Her skin felt cooler than a human's, but not unpleasantly so. As the drums intensified, she guided him through the initial movements. To his astonishment, the dance felt remarkably natural to him, perhaps because it echoed the precision and controlled power of his combat drills, or perhaps because Lyanna was an exceptional partner, her body telegraphing every move before it occurred. As they moved together, the distinction between them seemed to dissolve, the dance growing increasingly intimate, their bodies drawing closer with each turn. When her hand glided up his arm to rest against his neck, a jolt of electricity, entirely unrelated to static, surged through him. "Your people are watching," he murmured as they turned. "Let them," she countered, her eyes holding his. "They should witness that strength and honor transcend the boundaries of our kind." As the dance reached its crescendo, Lyanna leaned in, her lips brushing his ear. "There is a grave threat to my people, Adam. The VX have been sighted within our territory raiders, who seize what they desire and destroy what they cannot take." The sudden gravity of her words, despite the ongoing rhythm of their dance, surprised him. "Why impart this to me now?" he questioned. "Because tomorrow I will formally request your assistance, as one leader to another. Tonight I ask as a woman who perceives a worthy man." Her fingers tightened on his shoulder. "My warriors are skilled, but they have never confronted weapons like those the VX wield. You, however, have." The music reached its ultimate crescendo, and as tradition decreed, Lyanna pressed her forehead to his, an intimate gesture among her people, signifying profound trust and connection. When they separated, the crowd erupted in approving cheers. Adara, observing from nearby, clapped her hands in sheer delight. "Come," Lyanna said, as the gathering began to disperse. "There is a tradition for honored guests, a private ceremony." She led him away from the main settlement toward a smaller structure built into the cliff face. Inside, glowing crystals provided a soft illumination, revealing a chamber adorned with intricate tapestries depicting Navari history. "Few outsiders have ever seen this place," Lyanna stated, dismissing her guards with a simple gesture. "It is where our chiefs commune with the wisdom of our ancestors." As the door sealed behind them, the atmosphere between them shifted, charged with unspoken possibility. "Is communing with ancestors truly the reason you brought me here?" Adam asked, his voice rougher than intended. Lyanna stepped closer, her luminescent skin casting a gentle glow between them. "No," she admitted. "The dance merely confirmed my suspicions, but there exists a harmony between us, Adam Keller. a rare gift between disparate worlds. Her hand rose to touch his face, tracing the scar that ran along his jawline. Among my people, such harmony is not ignored. It is explored. Adam caught her hand, his pulse quickening. And if I desired to explore this harmony, her smile was both an invitation and a challenge. Then you would honor our way and permit your instincts to guide you. As the 3 moons aligned in the night sky above, ancient traditions and burgeoning possibilities converged in that sacred chamber, witnessed only by the silent stone and the distant stars. Adam awoke to the sound of urgent voices just outside the sacred chamber. Beside him, Lyanna stirred, her luminescent skin now a soft glow in the morning light, filtering through the high windows. The night had been a revelation. Their bodies, so different yet perfectly compatible, had forged a connection transcending the purely physical. Adam had discovered that Navari's skin emitted a subtle vibration when touched with genuine affection, and Lyanna had been utterly fascinated by the warmth of human contact, so much hotter than that of her own people. "You burn like a star," she had whispered against his chest. Now, reality intruded as a sharp knock echoed at the chamber door. "Chief Lyanna," came Serene's voice, laced with urgency. "Scouts have returned with news. The VX are approaching." Lyanna was instantly alert, all vulnerability vanishing as she re-embraced her role as leader. She dressed quickly, her movements efficient and practiced. "How many?" she called through the door. 3 ships descending toward the northern ridge. They will reach our territory by midday." Adam was already pulling on his tactical armor, his mind shifting into combat readiness. "What kind of weaponry do these VX typically carry?" Lyanna's expression was grim. "Energy weapons, sonic disruptors, technology far beyond what my people possess." "I've faced worse," Adam stated, checking the charge on his blaster. "We need a strategy that specifically leverages your strengths as a warrior." Upon their emergence from the chamber, Saren's eyes widened marginally as she observed them together. Yet she maintained her composure, offering a respectful bow. "Assemble the War Council," Lyanna commanded, "and retrieve human weaponry from his dwelling." "Already accomplished, Chief," Saren replied, her voice indicating a subtle hesitation. "The Council awaits, but there's another concern. Young Adara is missing." For the first time since Adam had encountered her, Lyanna's composure wavered. "What?" she demanded. "Search the settlement immediately," Kira interjected. "We have. She believes Adara may have followed the Dawn Patrol. They were monitoring Vic scout movements near the Crystal Caves." "Damn it," Adam muttered under his breath. "If the Vics are advancing and she's out there alone—" "She's not alone if she's with the patrol," Lyanna asserted, though her conviction seemed to falter. "Unless the patrol was captured," Adam countered. "We must act on both fronts immediately." They swiftly moved towards the central gathering area, where Navari warriors were already assembling. Rex bounded up to Adam, having been thoroughly cared for by the clan's children overnight. "Good timing, boy," Adam remarked, scratching the dog's ears. "We might just need your tracking abilities." The War Council comprised 5 senior warriors, all women, who regarded Adam with varying degrees of suspicion and deference. A 3-dimensional map of the territory hovered above a stone table, projected by technology far more advanced than Adam had anticipated from the seemingly primitive clan. "The Vix vessels will land here," one warrior indicated, pointing to a plateau. "Their ground forces will likely divide to encircle our settlement." "And the Dawn Patrol?" Lyanna inquired. "Their last communication placed them here," another warrior explained, indicating a canyon several miles north, near the Heart Gem mines. Adam studied the map intently. The Heart Gems. "That's what they're after, isn't it?" Lyanna nodded. "They power much of our technology. In the wrong hands, they can be weaponized." "So, we're facing a raid, not an invasion," Adam mused. "That alters the situation. Raiders typically aim for a quick in-and-out operation, with minimal casualties on their side." He then pointed to several choke points on the map. "We need to channel them through these narrow passes. Your warriors are intimately familiar with the terrain. That's your advantage. Establish ambushes here, here, and here." The council members exchanged impressed glances as Adam outlined a defensive strategy that maximized their inherent strengths while mitigating their technological disadvantages. "What about Adara?" Lyanna asked, her maternal concern undeniable despite her attempts to maintain a leader's stoicism. Adam turned to Rex. He can track her. I'll take a small team to locate the Dawn Patrol and Adara while you organize the defenses here. I should accompany you, Lyanna offered. Your people require their chief here, Adam gently countered. I promise you, I will bring your daughter back safely. Their gazes met in a moment of silent understanding, the intimacy of the previous night forging an unspoken bond of trust. Very well, Lyanna finally conceded. Take Seren and Kira. They are my finest trackers, second only to the Dawn Patrol. Within minutes, Adam was fully equipped with his complete arsenal, pulse rifle, sidearm, tactical knife, and the portable shield generator he seldom used. Rex seemed to grasp the urgency of their mission, standing alert and prepared. As they readied for departure, Lyanna drew Adam aside, pressing something into his palm, a small heart gem secured on a leather cord. It is attuned to Adara, she explained. It will grow warmer as you approach her, a type of tracking device that responds to a blood connection. She closed his fingers around the gem. It also symbolizes trust. Few outsiders have ever held a heart gem. Adam slipped the cord around his neck, feeling the gem's subtle warmth against his skin. I won't disappoint you. I know. Lyanna's hand briefly rested on his chest, over his heart. You humans, your hearts beat so powerfully. It is why you fight with such passion. Yes, among other reasons, Adam replied with a faint smile. Return to me, Adam Keller. It was both a command and a plea. Count on it. As Adam led Seren, Kira, and Rex toward the northern ridge, he felt the immense weight of his multiple responsibilities, finding Adara, safeguarding the clan that had welcomed him, and honoring the deep connection he'd forged with Lyanna. For a man who had intentionally sought isolation for years, he suddenly found himself at the epicenter of a conflict that would determine the fate of an entire people. And, strangely, it felt right. For the first time since leaving military service, Adam had a clear, undeniable purpose, one undeniably worth fighting for. The heart gem around Adam's neck intensified in warmth as they neared the crystal caves. Rex had picked up Adara's scent an hour prior, leading them away from the Dawn Patrol's last known location and deeper into the intricate canyon system. The child possesses remarkable cleverness, Saren observed as they navigated a narrow path between towering rock formations. She did not remain with the patrol. Is that typical for her? Adam inquired, ducking under a low overhang. Kira snorted. The chief's daughter has always exhibited more courage than caution, much like her mother. The comparison to Lyanna brought an unbidden smile to Adam's face. He had known the Navari leader for barely a day, yet their connection felt profoundly deep, as if some cosmic alignment had drawn them together. The heart gem pulses strongly, he noted, feeling the stone thrum against his chest. She must be close. Rex suddenly froze, his hackles rising, a low growl rumbling in his throat. Down! Adam hissed, pulling Seren and Kira behind a boulder. 100 yards ahead, a Vic patrol emerged from behind a ridge. 4 soldiers, clad in sleek black armor that seemed to absorb light rather than reflect it, their elongated heads and 6-fingered hands marking them as distinctly non-human. Each carried what appeared to be a sonic disruptor, weapons designed to shatter solid matter at the molecular level. Scouts, Kira whispered. The main force must be nearby. Adam nodded, swiftly assessing their options. We need to find Adara before they do. As the Vic patrol moved out of sight, Rex whined softly, pawing at a narrow fissure in the canyon wall. Good boy, Adam murmured, examining the opening. It's just wide enough for a child or a dog to squeeze through. Adara could have entered there, Seren suggested, peering into the darkness. Adam removed his tactical pack and extracted a small reconnaissance drone, one of the few pieces of advanced technology he'd retained from his military days. Let's see what we're dealing with. He activated the drone, sending it through the fissure. Its feed appeared on his wrist display, showing a tight passage that opened into a vast cavern beyond. The drone's infrared sensors detected a small heat signature, huddled behind a cluster of towering crystals. Found her, Adam confirmed. She's alone, about 50 meters in. I can fit through, Kira offered, already removing her bulkier armor pieces. No, Adam countered. Rex and I will go. You two circle around and locate the main entrance to the cave system. We'll need a quick extraction route once we have her. Saren looked skeptical. The caves are sacred ground. Few know all the passages. Then find the Dawn Patrol, Adam directed. They must be nearby. We'll need their assistance when the Vic's main force arrives. After a brief debate,